everyone. Welcome to Cancer Healing Journey Talks. Myself Sonali Modi from Community Outreach Team of zenonco.io and Love Heals Cancer. Cancer Healing Journey Talks help cancer survivors and caregivers to share their journey with us. With vast number of survivors and other caregivers who have traveled or been traveling through the journey, this can inspire and motivate them for their faster recovery as well. So firstly, I would like to introduce today's speaker, Ms. Renee. She is a cancer survivor, and I'm happy that you're here with us to share your journey. Over to you, ma'am. Please start with your introduction.
Thank you very much, Sonali. I'm really happy to be here, and thank you for the invitation. I'm here actually to share a little bit about my story as a cancer survivor. Actually, I've had two different types of cancer. In 2001, I was first diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 2. And in 2014, I had a second cancer, not related to the breast cancer at all. It's called an acinic cell carcinoma, and it was in the parotid gland inside my face over here. So I had surgery to remove the tumor. And as of 2016, the breast cancer appeared again in my lungs. So today I am considered stage 4 breast cancer, and I introduce myself normally as someone who is living with metastatic breast cancer.
Okay.
So if you'd like to know a little bit more about me, I'm in Malaysia. Hello. It's a little unusual to be talking to somebody in India about this, but I'm very happy to be here to share my story.
Yes. So yeah, we are really happy and honored to have you with us. And so what were the symptoms and how it got diagnosed?
Okay, stage 2 back in 2001, I found the lump actually quite by accident. I was going to have a shower. I had taken off my clothes and I passed in front of a mirror. And as I looked at myself in the mirror, I noticed there was something strange about my left breast. It looked different. So on further inspection, I realized that there was a lump there. And so the next day in the morning, I went to see a doctor at an emergency and, A&E, accident and emergency, at the hospital that was nearest to the office where I was working. And they did a mammogram, they did an ultrasound, and they confirmed that there was a lump. But they told me I needed to do a biopsy to find out if this was actually a cancer or not. So 2 days later, I met with a surgeon at the same hospital, and we agreed that I would do a lumpectomy first to remove the tumor and send it for biopsy. And the reason why we elected to do a lumpectomy as the first step was because it was sitting very close to the surface, right next to my nipple. So the surgeon was hopeful that she could actually perhaps remove everything in one go, in which case I would not need further surgery. But as it turned out, there wasn't a sufficient margin around the tumor that they excised. And so I needed to do a full mastectomy later, once the biopsy results showed that this was actually a stage 2 breast cancer.
Okay. So what was your first reaction when you got to know that you are diagnosed with cancer, and how your family took this news?
Well, I was quite lucky. I had good friends and I had my family around me, but nevertheless, it did come as a shock. And after I did the second surgery to remove the entire breast, they did a further biopsy. And that's when it really sank in, when I got that result that, yeah, this is breast cancer. And I remember breaking down in tears in the doctor's, well, not in the office. I sort of ran out of the office and I headed straight for the ladies' toilets, and there I had a good cry. But my sister was with me, and it really helped a lot having my family and my friends around me. Yes.
Yes. So what treatment you underwent?
Okay, I had chemotherapy, and instead of the usual 6 cycles, I did something a little bit more aggressive. 8 cycles of chemotherapy. The first half was like the normal chemo. And then the second half, we switched to a single drug chemotherapy, which was more effective, had fewer side effects. I'll start again.
Yeah.
So after, sorry, you want to ask the question first?
Yeah. So what treatment you underwent?
Okay, after the mastectomy, I did the adjuvant treatment. So I had 8 cycles of chemotherapy, followed by radiotherapy. I did, I think, 5 weeks of that. So 25 radiotherapy sessions. Yeah.
Okay. And did you find any alternative treatment to that?
At the time, no. I'm a very, I follow my doctor's advice kind of person. I did take some antioxidant vitamins on the advice of my surgeon, but that was all. Some people did send me things to take, because here in Malaysia, of course, we are a multi-ethnic community. So everybody has their home remedies and things like this to share. But I didn't really put much effort into doing those sorts of things. I really stuck to the medical treatment as my recovery plan. Yeah. So after I completed all the adjuvant treatments, that took about 9 months to do. Then I was put on tamoxifen because my cancer was determined as something that's what they call hormone positive.
Okay.
Yeah, hormone receptor positive. So I was a candidate for tamoxifen, which I took for the next 5 years.
So, like, how many chemotherapy cycles you took?
I did 8. Yeah, I did 8. And normally, the usual chemo for a stage 2 breast cancer like mine, hormone receptor positive, low grade infiltrative ductal carcinoma, normally they would have given 6 cycles of chemotherapy. But I chose 8 because it's a little bit more aggressive. The second half, they changed to a single chemotherapy drug, which is more effective and also had fewer side effects, but it also cost a lot more. But I was very fortunate that I could afford it. I had insurance cover and things like this. My employer was also very, very supportive. And I did have some medical cover from my workplace as well.
Okay. So how did you manage your emotional well-being during these times?
I think I cried a lot. And I talked to my friends. I had a very, very good friend who's still my friend today. And, when I started losing my hair, she is the lady who said, you know what, rather than wearing hats and looking funny when you take your hat off because there's a bald patch here and a bald patch there, I'm going to take you to the barber and we'll just shave it all off and then it'll be done. And so we did, we went to the barber together and he shaved my head bald. He was a little bit surprised, but he understood the guy, in the barber shop. So it was fun. And I actually enjoyed being bald after that. It was kind of cool, Not many ladies can have an excuse to walk around with no hair on their heads. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So,
I can understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how was your experience with the doctors and other medical staff?
I would say excellent. We are very lucky in Malaysia. We have a dual system, we have the government hospitals and we also have private hospitals. Now, government hospitals, they charge very little. And really, I like to think that this is meant more for that population in Malaysia that cannot afford going to a private hospital. In my case, I had insurance cover. I had support from my employer. So I opted for a private hospital, private treatment, which worked very well for me. But I think in both cases, both in the government hospitals as well as the private hospitals, the standard of medical care in Malaysia is pretty good. It was pretty good already then, back in 2001. Yeah. So I have no complaints, excellent nursing services as well. So I was very, very lucky to get really the best that I needed.
So what were the things that helped you and made you happy on this journey?
Coffee and cake. My good friends, quite often they would say, oh, we need to cheer you up a little. Let's go have some coffee and some cake, and it was nice. I was also privileged because my employer had a scheme called the long medical leave scheme, So I was able to take a long period of medical leave on full pay up to 3 months, which I did. So I was diagnosed at the end of the year, somewhere in October. I started chemotherapy in December. So that first year, I used all my medical leave. Then for the treatments that continued in the following year, I was able to take 3 months off work, fully paid. And that helped a lot. It meant I could focus on myself, on my treatment, on my emotional state, the things that I was going through, without having to worry about, the stress in the office and things like that.
Yeah. So how you felt when you first heard that you are cancer free?
Well, I never really heard that I was cancer free. I just carried on with my tamoxifen. And at the end of 5 years, I realized, oh, great, I don't have to take this anymore. So that was already 2004, 2005. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, in 2005, I did something wonderful. I went to climb a mountain in Africa. I went to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And this is the highest mountain in the whole of Africa. It's the highest mountain outside of the Himalayas it's the highest freestanding mountain in the entire world. That's right. So some friends asked me if I would like to do this, and after you've done chemotherapy and all these treatments, you tend to feel rather bad about yourself. You feel very weak. You've put on possibly a lot of weight, which I did. And I was trying to lose the weight, but it wasn't working. Going to the gym on my own and all this, it didn't really have much effect. So when my friends asked me if I'd like to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, I said yes. And I changed my goal. I don't want to lose weight anymore. I want to climb the highest freestanding mountain in the world. And that changed everything. So I think it was the 26th of February or January 2005, I reached Uhuru Peak, the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. And from that moment onwards, I knew I was okay. I felt this is it. If I can do this, I can do anything. I can beat cancer. I can live a good life. I can be who I am, and I can be happy again.
Yes, definitely. So did you took any training for this mountaineering thing and all, or was it your passion?
It wasn't my passion. The first time I climbed a mountain was in 2000 to celebrate the new millennium. And I thought, I will never do this again. It's just too difficult. It is way, way too hard. But when I decided to do Mount Kilimanjaro, I realized that, you really have to train properly for these things. And so I took a trainer at the gym, and he helped me work out a proper training program. And we had to learn all sorts of other things as well. We had to learn about the mountain itself. We had to learn about altitude sickness. We had to learn about nutrition. So it was a full year of preparation before we left for Tanzania. And I'm really glad I did it because, like I said, it was a turning point in my recovery as a cancer survivor. Yeah.
Yes. So there are times when you feel that it's too much to handle, but you still don't give up. So what was the thing that motivated you and kept you going on such days?
Well, as I mentioned just now, I am still living with breast cancer. In fact, it has metastasized. So it's now gone from stage 2 to stage 4. And I think to a lot of people, when they listen to those words, stage 4 breast cancer, they imagine you must be lying on your deathbed already, like there's no more hope. But I found that there is always hope. And look at me, I'm still very active. I still do my workouts, I still run, I still hike, except the MCO, because of this pandemic that we are going through with COVID. So everything is kind of slowed down a bit now. But as soon as it's possible again, I will go back to my hiking and things. And I think this is one of the things that keeps me happy and positive, is physical exercise and staying mentally alert through work and things that I do to occupy my time. Yeah. And of course, friends and family. They're always there for me, and they're always very supportive, and they don't treat me like an invalid or something like this. So, they play a big part in helping me deal with my situation and keep moving forward.
So did you make any lifestyle changes during or after the treatment?
Well, I think my lifestyle changes have sort of come and go. They come and go, At the beginning, you're very gung-ho about it. Yes, I'm going to eat better. I'm going to exercise better. And then maybe after a couple of years gone by, you tend to relax a bit more. And then something else happens and you start again, But I do try and remind myself to eat healthy, eat smaller portions, but eat maybe more often during the day. This helps control the weight as well. So I'm still, I'm not my ideal weight, but for someone who's turned 60 years old, I'm not too unhappy with where I am now in terms of my physical being, That means my health, how I feel about myself physically. I'm quite happy. Yeah. But really, the lifestyle changes, the biggest was probably regular exercise. Regular exercise with proper planning and someone to show me how to do things the right way. Yeah.
So do you think cancer has changed you in a positive way?
I think so. I think if you ask my friends also, they will tell you, yeah, she's much nicer now than she used to be.
So what life lessons you got from your cancer journey?
Well, life lessons, there are many, but I think the key is not to just give up hope. There is always hope. Yeah. So I've heard many stories about ladies who have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and they feel that that's the end. They don't want to go for treatment. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to go out. They don't want to see people. They want to just stay home and be alone. And to me, this is giving up hope. And I think as long as we have hope, there are things we can do. There are people who can help us if we're having problems or challenges, whether it's emotional, spiritual, or even financial. There's always somewhere we can go to get help. So we should try our best to overcome these hurdles, because if I had given up when I was told I had cancer in 2001, I wouldn't be here today. But I have had 20 good years of really adventure. Yes, some setbacks, but then more adventure and good people around me. And, I've come to see my nieces grow up. I don't have children because I'm not married and I don't have kids, but I share in my sister's children. She has 3 girls. And so I watched them grow up and go to school and graduate. And now they're all working and they're starting their own family. And if you just give up, there is so much that you would miss out on. Maybe you don't get to see your daughter get married. Maybe you don't get to hold your first grandchild. And all those things may have been possible if you're just willing to take that step and fight this disease for as long as you can.
Yes. So what would be your message to cancer patients and caregivers?
Well, for the caregivers, No matter how grumpy and grouchy the cancer patient gets, I was sometimes very, very grouchy because with chemotherapy came menopause. And with menopause came these terrible, terrible mood swings. Yeah. So caregivers, yes, you have to put up with a lot from the cancer patient, but don't forget to look after yourself as well. You are not a punching bag for people to just keep punching you. You need sometimes a break. You need to rest as well. You need to step back from everything that's happening to this person whom no doubt you love very much, and remember that you are also equally important. Your health, your well-being is just as important. You need to look after yourself as well. So if possible, there should be sort of like a team of caregivers, so that it's not one person's responsibility 24/7. And for people who are going through cancer, whether it's breast cancer or any other type of cancer, I always remind myself, we're not supposed to be here forever. We're not supposed to live forever. There will come a day when we will all take our leave from this world. So there's no real value in sitting around waiting for that day to come, whether you have cancer or not. I think you should live your life to the fullest, as best as you can. Enjoy it as much as you can. And when your time comes, then hopefully you can look back on your life and say, hey, I had a pretty good one. It was fun. It was exciting. I had good people in my life. I did good things for other people, and I have no regrets. And then you can go peacefully, I think. I do realize that this is easier said than done. And sometimes I do worry that when my time comes, will I really be so at peace to be able to just go? Of course, we don't know. We can only do our best. So that is what I try to do. I just try to do my best, and I leave the rest in his hands,
Yes, on God.
Yes, God's hands. Whether you call him Allah or whether you have another name for your God, to me, it's your belief, it's your spiritual anchor. So you should be happy to leave things in his hands.
Yes. So have you ever asked yourself this question, why me? Why me only? And if yes, then like how you cope up with this thought?
Well, it's a natural question. I probably did ask why me, but I very quickly stopped asking that question, because to me, looking for a reason why this happened to me, it won't take me anywhere. It will only hold me back. And it's not a punishment. I know that. People don't get cancer as a punishment for something they did early, or in their youth or in a past life or something. I don't believe that at all. I believe everybody has a challenge in life. For some people, it's a major illness, a life-threatening disease. For other people, it could be losing your business, like what has happened to a lot of people now with COVID. Or it could be an emotional upset, maybe you've lost a loved one, or you've gotten divorced from, the person you thought was the love of your life. And all these things are challenges. And they help us to look at ourselves again, get a new perspective of who we are and who we can be, and help us to live our best life. So to me, it's not so much about having cancer. It's about, how do you choose to live your life when you have cancer? How do you choose to live the journey? It's the journey that matters most, I think.
So it is said that art or any creative things works as healing. So did you tried any such things on your journey?
Well, I'm not much of an artist, but I enjoy looking at art. So, before we had to all stay at home because of COVID and things, I was able to do some traveling. And I really enjoyed going to art museums and looking at art. Art, I find, helps me stay calm. It helps me bring out certain emotions in myself. So I would say there is a great deal of value in art as a tool for healing. Not necessary that you have to be the artist as well. I think it works both. If you are the artist and you are expressing yourself through art, but it also works if you are appreciating art as a viewer. That's my thought on it. Yeah.
How
It's
did
the
you?
same. Sorry, it's the same with other things. Music.
Yeah.
I enjoy music very much. I think these things they're all good for the soul. Yeah.
Yes. Music is like peace.
Yes.
Yes. So, how did you overcome your fears of treatments or the side effects?
Well, I think at the beginning, when it was that initial breast cancer diagnosis, I went through all the usual nausea, vomiting, losing my hair, but I quickly learned to deal with it, and there are medications to help with nausea and things like this. So those options were there for me. Now that I am stage 4, I have come to realize that my treatments, they will keep changing as my cancer progresses. So between 2016, when we first realized that the cancer has come back, until today, I have been through 4 different types of treatment.
Okay.
Mostly oral in the form of medication, but the second treatment actually involved getting some injections every month. So each one has its own set of side effects and things. And I found that, as you get used to something, you understand the side effects, you know how to control it better. So it gets easier with time. So for example, the medication that I am on now, a very common side effect is getting mouth ulcers. So at the beginning, I overreacted, I thought, okay, you can get mouth ulcers. I must really take care of the hygiene in my mouth. So I was using mouthwashes and I was brushing my teeth more than usual. And in the end, I gave myself mouth ulcers because I was being too hard on my mouth with the toothbrush and the mouthwash, and it was very, very painful and very hard. I could hardly swallow and I had trouble talking. So once I got, they made me a special rinse to rinse my mouth every day and heal the mouth ulcers. And it worked wonderfully. It was prepared for me at the hospital by the pharmacist. And once I got rid of those mouth ulcers, I made sure, okay, now we take care not to overdo it when we are keeping our mouth clean. And we learn what foods will trigger an ulcer to form. So it can't be too salty or too vinegary. It can't be too spicy. So I cut those foods out. And now I hardly get mouth ulcers at all. So it's something you can learn to manage and deal with. And the key is always knowledge. You have to learn about the challenge you are facing and how to overcome it.
Yes. So when did you think that I can beat this disease, or this belief was always there with you?
I think in the beginning, in 2001, it was a process. But as I got through the chemotherapy and then I started the radiotherapy, I began to feel hopeful that, okay, the worst part is over. I've done the chemo. The radiotherapy doesn't seem so difficult in comparison. But as I said, when I did that climb, that Mount Kilimanjaro expedition, that really, really turned it around for me. From that minute, I felt strong. I felt good about myself, and I felt I can do anything. I can beat cancer. I can climb a mountain. I can beat cancer. Now, if you look at my situation now, in the beginning, yes, I was a bit upset that it had come back. But I tell myself, you can get hit by a bus tomorrow, and that's the end of your life. So yes, you have stage 4 breast cancer, but it's far from over. There's still a lot that you can do, still a lot of things that I want to do, that I want to enjoy doing. So I don't focus so much on I have cancer. I focus more on, what are we going to do this week, or where are we going to travel next year when they open up the borders again? Yeah.
Yes.
So thinking positive, staying positive, I think is a big part of that whole equation of how you deal with having a major illness like cancer.
So did you join any support group? And if yes, then what was the importance of that support group in your life throughout the cancer journey?
In the beginning, I didn't. At first, when I started my first chemotherapy, I remember the oncology nurse, she gave me a little piece of paper with a phone number. And she said, anytime if you need support, these are women who have been through the same thing you are going through. Give them a call. They're very supportive. But I never called because I'm quite a private person, I suppose. I didn't call, but later I came to know them after I had done Mount Kilimanjaro. I joined the Breast Cancer Welfare Association here in Selangor as a dragon boat racer. I joined their dragon boat team, and then I got involved with another organization, which is today known as the Breast Cancer Foundation Malaysia. And I organized another mountain expedition together with them. So we went to South America with an expedition that we called Climb Mount Aconcagua, Climb with Pride,
Okay.
So through those activities, and also we did a fashion show where all the models were breast cancer survivors. So we all put on, I wore Chanel. I was so thrilled. I could never afford a Chanel jacket, and I wore original Chanel for this fashion show. It was like, wow, this is my chance to sort of live it up a little while it lasts, So it was incredibly fun. I got to meet some amazing women. There are men who get breast cancer too, of course, but very few. And I've not actually met any here in Malaysia. So mostly it's women. But they're all amazing and they all do really, really great things with their lives. Many of them have children whom they have seen through university. Many of them have really great hobbies, whether it's cooking or dancing. And many of them also enjoy the outdoors like I do and go hiking. They go trekking in the Himalayas, some of them. So there are many, many women out there who are doing really well. And that is an inspiration to me as well, that I'm not alone,
Yes. So at zenonco.io, we help cancer patients through their journey from diagnosis to forever. So what do you think about our work?
Well, I don't know Zen Onco personally, but having listened to some of the interviews you have done with other caregivers and other patients, I think it's important work. It is important work because there can never be too many positive messages going out there to tell people that, hey, it's okay. If you've been told you have breast cancer or any kind of cancer, you do not need to become a recluse and hide away at home and be embarrassed about this or afraid of this. you
Hmm.
know, you should just come out, you should seek treatment, and you should feel positive and good about yourself, because this is not some kind of punishment to make you feel bad about yourself. This is just another challenge that life has thrown in your way.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean it's the end. There's still many things you can do with your life, and you should try and enjoy it. And that, I think, because you have a tagline, right?
Heals
Love
cancer.
heals.
Cancer.
Yes, yes. And I think that's really great, because
Yes.
it is love, it's love from all the people around. It's love from the caregivers in the hospitals too, because we mustn't forget about the doctors, the nurses,
Mm-hmm.
and all those people who support us if we need to be in the hospital. But it's also self-love. It's
Yes.
learning to love ourselves and telling ourselves that, hey, we are worth it, we are worth being loved, and we are worth fighting for. And yeah, just love
Yes.
yourself.
So, if you have to sum up your journey in one sentence, then what would that be?
It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, okay, but I would say it ain't over till the fat lady sings. That's a saying, like a little proverb or something like that,
Okay.
which means to me that it's not over by a mile yet. There's still a lot of life ahead of me, and I intend to enjoy it as much as I can.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your valuable time. And I'm sure this session really motivates people out there who have traveled or been traveling through this cancer journey. So it was lovely having you here today, Rennie. So once again,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And thank you again for inviting me to be part of your work.
Yes.
As I said, I think it's very important work, and I am very honored to have been asked to be part of it. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.